too. Oh my gosh. That is Mel. Mel.
Mel, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't get over that. But how many years have you been involved?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, 40 plus.
yeah. That I know that you've been there all along when we were there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Myrna, since you've done some preparation, why don't you just go ahead and start? So our first question for you, whoops, I lost my paper. Where did it go? Oh. I think I might have left it in with you.
You said I'll get it.
Sorry about that, Myrna.
All right. How are you doing from the emergency? How are you doing from your emergency?
Thank you, Mel. Well, it was my son, Myrna, and he's doing fine. He had hurt his hand over the weekend, and it was still very swollen and purple, and the only time that I could get him in to see the doctor was in the morning. So thanks so much for being flexible. And he's fine. It's just hurt and bruised. It's not broken. So we're really thankful for that.
Thank you. Thank our Lord.
Yes, thanks. He definitely, thanks be to God for it. And he even got us in and out of the appointment pretty quickly. So all of the things were good. So, all right. So sorry about that. Thanks, Mel. So our first question was, tell us a story of how you started in the pro-life movement.
Okay. Well, we just moved from from California to Oregon in August, okay? And my husband was elected as president of Grand Night of the Knights of Columbus, okay? And so I got a call on October, okay? And I thought, it was a strange call, but it was all right. And they asked me if I would come down to speak to us about 3 people were going to come down, and they wanted to know if they could speak to us at the Knights of Columbus meeting, okay? And so I said, okay. And so that was it. And it was 1970. It was
Wow.
1970, okay? And so it was before Right to Life began, okay? And so Dr. Mannion was the only name that I could remember. I know that there are 3 fellows came down. And so anyway, they came and presented the situation that the Supreme Court just passed, okay? And Senator Packwood from Oregon, we picketed him everywhere he went in Southern Oregon, okay? And we always went, and he was California, New York, and Oregon were the 3 states that did abortions, okay? Nothing else. And Dr. Wilkie was trying to do it in New York, okay? And so I didn't have his address, but I wanted to have his film, okay? Mm-hmm. And so he put out a film later, and we showed it around to everybody that we could, okay? And I talk better now. I know, I not now, but at that time, okay? And So we hired an attorney, and we had an attorney come to write bylaws, okay, because we didn't have any bylaws. Nobody had any bylaws, okay. And so we hired him, and then rest is history, okay. But over the years, we kept in touch with all the people up in North because they kept in touch with us. And so we contacted them and found out when they were doing things and everything else. And so um, and then we continue to help our Medford, Oregon, because Pagnini's were friends of ours. And so they wanted to start one too, and Right to Life. And I said, well, I know that they knew me was involved with Right to Life. And so they started them, they hired an attorney, and then they got their bylaws, okay? And we went the Medford Right to Life, as well as Oregon Right, Grants Pass Right to Life, or Josephine County Right to Life. And so anyway, and I know that Mel has, I know that he's been involved in years and years and years. And then I formed a pregnancy care center because they didn't have anybody there, and we had girls. And Adriana Pearson um, was picketing the clinic, at the Josephine County Right to Life, no, Josephine County Hospital, Three Rivers Hospital. And where it was Three Rivers, no, it was Josephine County Right, Hospital. And then they moved and tore it down and everything else. But we picketed there, and there was about 100 of us there because Sam Donaldson was helping me. And so, Perry Atkinson also was helping me. And so they got their people together, and they came out and talked to us, and then we talked to them, and we formed a March for Life. March for Life, it was there at the hospital. And then 3 years later, we went down and we had to get all kinds of permissions and everything else. But it was Sunday was the best thing for us to do. And so we went on Sunday, and we've been doing it ever since. And there's been 500 people at least showing up. And so anyway, that's how I got started. So anyway,
Wow.
But,
I love hearing about how purposeful you were, and making sure that all of the things were legally put together, and so that you could really be free to
yeah.
advocate in the ways that you needed to. So the next question was, what are some ways that your faith impacted your pro-life work?
Gosh, it was basis, it did everything. Because I can't tell you how many times I would pray, Blessed Mother or the Divine Lord, to come out and help me out. And I just went through all kinds of things by myself, and but I forgot. I know that our Lord was there with me all the time, and so oh my gosh, that was something else. So anyway, but I prayed all the time. In fact, when we picketed Planned Parenthood, when Planned Parenthood came to town 30 years ago, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But we would always picket um, um, and say the rosary when we were picketing. So it made no difference where we were or anything, we would always say the rosary. So that was helped a lot. Oh my
A lot
God.
of power in the rosary, isn't it? A lot of power in the rosary.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is. Oh, thank you, Mel, for telling me that, because it know that I was just powerful, and we have called on our Blessed Mother all the time, as well as our Lord. And she, you did a marvelous job up there too.
Well, you might have many people that fit into this category, but tell us about someone who helped you when you needed it the most.
Well, they, Perry Atkinson, when he got his radio station there, he helped me in many ways to advertise March, okay? And Sam Donaldson, when he, Pastor Sam Donaldson at that time, and he let us use his church, and he had his anytime, anything that we wanted, we would do for us. And so I said, I take the two fellows that helped, and then Adriana Pearson was here um, many times for the Right to Life March and picket. And she helped me also with all the girls that had needed diaper bags and things like that. And she would have them at her home because she was in town. And so we would take the girls over there, and anyway, and oh my goodness sakes, but there are the three.
Myrna, do you remember what church Sam Donaldson was the pastor, where he
No.
was the pastor?
And I know that's right by the driveway. I mean, by the, and I can't remember the pastor's name.
Well, I can look it up though.
Went there all the time for 30 years, 5 years at least. So we met him, and he moved on to somewhere else, but we had all the people, and all the time we stuck to the pastor of that time, and he said yes, and so we just continued to meet there, and we met all the time every month until September, the summer. And then we didn't meet during the summer. But we use that, oh gosh, all the time.
That's
People said that they had engaged, I mean, they were engaged because of that.
Mhm.
And so it's very interesting stories of how people met.
I'm there are many, I'm sure. Oh, our last question is, what advice would you give to young people who are just starting on their pro-life journey?
Don't be afraid.
Ah,
Don't be afraid. But, and wear something like my pro-life feet pin that looks so, I mean, it looks so obvious, but they're not obvious. And all of a sudden, somebody asks where are my feet? I mean, what is that? Little feet are beautiful. And I just was explaining to them the other day, last week. I was wearing my pro-life pin, and I was talking to a girl, and she wanted to know what the feet pin were, and so it was just like that. Just and don't be afraid of any messages or anything. That God will give you the message, the answer, information when you need it. And so I just was everywhere all the time.
I love that, Myrna. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to prepare and to be with us. And Mel actually has some things that some comments that he would like to add. So I'm going to hand this over to him.
That's right.
First of all, thank you for your dedication and serving, and God bless you and your family. I'm here to tell a little bit of history about my wife, Nedora. She was raised in St. Paul, Oregon, way back when, and she was raised in the Catholic Church. And so she always had a strong faith in God. I mean, she depended on God and the Blessed Mother so much. Yeah. And some of the best years of my life at Oregon State was spent there. But the best thing that happened to me was meeting and marrying Nedora and having 5 children, 27 grandchildren, one on the way. So we're going to be up to 28. And what a blessing that is. They all have their faith. All my kids, spouses, grandkids all have their faith in it. So I feel so blessed, so fortunate on that. So it's been a wonderful life for me. She was a wonderful wife, mother, grandmother, and she's a friend to everybody she met. Everybody felt really comfortable around her. She just put everybody at ease. She was just that type of person.
Right.
She introduced me to God in the Catholic Church. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me to influence my life in a very positive way. That I'm so fortunate about that. That's one of the best things that she ever did for me, and I just cannot thank her enough. She dedicated to 40 plus years of her life to the pro-life cause and trying to help save the life of the unborn. And she was really solid. And words that I think can best describe her is she was a warrior. She was courageous, loving, dedicated, mentally tough, honorable, and a high integrity. In fact, I got to tell you a story about honor and integrity. So my sister is very involved in making quilts for charitable causes. And she's with 11 other people. And so she would invite Nedora occasionally to go on these retreats, and they'd go on 2 or 3 day retreats. So she did it 2 or 3 times. And this one time, it was towards the end of her life. She was not feeling well. She couldn't do it. And she was supposed to bring the pizza down to south of Lincoln City, some little town, and they're having a retreat down there. So, you would think, okay, all we do is get on the phone and order the pizza and deliver it. No. I had to bring the pizza down. And so that's what I did. I delivered the pizza to them. So it was a big joke, from now on where they went, I would deliver pizza for them. But anyway, that's the kind of person she was. I mean, she was so honorable and upfront and just a sweetheart. And so that I thought that was interesting. She was very giving, very caring, and the most important thing, good quality she had was she had a strong faith in God. I mean, she just was so dedicated, and she was such an example, a good example for. And I swear that's one of the reasons all my kids and my grandkids have their faith, because of her example. You know, she didn't have to say a lot. She just lived the life of faith,
Yeah.
and it affected me a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so saying all that, you know, it is great pleasure that you received the most deserving award honoring my wife and the pro-life cause on behalf of the Organ Right to Life myself. We're going to present you with this award. Can you see it?
Oh my gosh. For goodness sakes, I can't.
I'm gonna read down at the bottom of it, Myrna. It says, first of all, Nedora Counts Life of Faith Award, Life of Faith Award. And this is the third or fourth year or something like that, isn't it, Lois? Something like that. It says, for you formed by my inward parts, you knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I'm faithfully and wonderfully made. Psalms 139, 13, 14. And Myrna, I can't think of the better person to have this award in honoring the Right to Life cause, Organ Right to Life, and my wife. And God bless you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Surprise.
So this, I suppose this will be sent to you, right, Lois? She'll
Yes.
send you the award. So thank you, Myrna, for your dedication and your courage, staying in there and being faithful to the cause and to God.
I'm so grateful that Nedora continued on like that. Oh my gosh, because I'm same way. I'm with my faith and with my rosary and right to life. That's always the same. So I thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, Myrna. And you know, it's funny if it's not funny, it's ironic. If you're really faithful to God, He'll be faithful to you. You ask and you will receive. That's the way I look at it. You do the right thing, follow the commandments, and just try to every day do the best you can. And I know you do that. So thank you for serving.
Well, thank you too. I'm so glad that you had that for you to come to me. Oh my goodness sakes. Oh, thank you. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Well,
All right.
we love you, Myrna, and are so thankful for you and all the work that you did, and just the way that you really pointed so many people not only to the dignity of the human person, but to why that dignity exists, because God created them, and your faith was the bedrock of your involvement, and that really was demonstrated. And we're just grateful to have the opportunity to honor you just a little bit today.
For goodness sakes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Wonderful day.
All right. Take care.